some technical difficulties.
Hey guys.
Awesome. Mary, did you also want to grab your AI into this room just in case, so we make sure we have the recording?
I'm gonna record directly from Google Meet when you told me to. So my AI, yeah, I'm having some problems with it. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay, no worries. That works as well. Thanks. Yeah. Hey, Hadar. How you doing? I think we'll wait.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, me as well. I do it a little bit differently at home, where I kind of just brew it like a tea all together instead of in the gourd.
Oh, this is gonna sound pathetic, but I did not try mate.
Mary, were you even in Argentina if you did not try mate?
Yeah, you didn't even have a steak.
Right.
The steak is understandable. The mate it's unforgivable.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't even have steak. For those on the call, I'm pescatarian, so I do not eat steak.
Did you at least have that wine?
No, I don't really drink neither, so I'm just super boring, I guess.
You're at least a really cheap date. No steaks and no drinks.
Yeah, I really like sushi though, like good tuna steak. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, it's good to see everyone here. I think I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes. We'll do the full 5 minutes just to make sure everybody files in who wants to be here before we get started. I will actually so we're going to be working collaboratively a little bit in this session, which is the whole purpose, or the primary purpose. And so I will drop in the chat right now the link to the Figma board that we will be working in. So if people want to just kind of troubleshoot that really quickly, let me know. It should be all right, should be accessible to everyone. But let me know if you have any problems getting in there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, everyone.
And don't worry, I will explain what we're going to be doing today. There's a lot on the agenda, so hopefully we can get it all done. All right, well, we're at 5 minutes. I feel very comfortable. There's about 15 of us, I think, in the room, which is amazing to see. And I want to make sure that we get everything in today. So it's funny because Mary and I were chatting about this call before, and we were a little unsure, since it's the first one, how many people were going to show up. And I was saying if below 15 people come, we can definitely do intros for everyone. And about 15 was kind of that cutoff. But I think since we're like exactly on 15, I say probably let's do some intros. I don't know, Mary, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, let's just do like a 15-minute intro, like who you are, what you
Yeah, maybe like a brief 15, 20 second, 30 second max intro on your name, what you're currently, spending your most time working on these days, and maybe just really briefly your connection or relationship to GoodDollar will be excellent. So I'll kick it off, and my name's Sam. It's great to see all of you here and meet the people who I haven't met yet. I am currently working with GoodDollar to lead the governance redesign that I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. I also work as part of DAO or MetaGov, if you've heard of either of those organizations, which they both kind of deal with digital governance, generally speaking. DAO Star, obviously, like the name suggests, is a little bit more directly involved in the DAO space as well. So yeah, if everyone could just pass it on to the next person as well, that'd be great. Mary, you can go next.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So my name is Mary. I think I know almost everybody in this call, so super excited to see you all. What I've been working the most, like, as you know, like I've been part of the GoodDollar, Good Labs team for the last 4 years. So my work has been mostly on like growth, ecosystem growth, did some governance, but I'm really glad that Sam is here now to help us out and all of you as well. And Hadar, go next.
Hi, Adar from GoodDollar. Great to have all of you here. Yeah, Kotabe.
Hey, I'm Kotabe. I'm currently work at Giveth in General Magic, mostly Giveth now. I've been in the Web3 space for the last 4 years and in the impact space for the last 8. And yeah, I don't know. One thing that I really like is just trying to see more, a bigger bridge between the traditional impact space and Web3. And I'm very excited about GoodDollar. I've been very excited for some time. So I'll pass it to Graven.
Hey everyone, I'm Graven. I recognize a lot of people here. I work at Flow State. We do stuff with streaming money and Superfluid. We helped run, or I guess we provided the tech for the Good Builders program round. Is that 2 or 3? I don't know. Everything blends together. But streaming out grants to builders based off of votes. And so obviously GoodDollar being a super token and the opportunities that that presents, I'm excited to hopefully contribute there. I'll pass it to Amin because it's thematic.
Thanks, Craven. Yeah, my name is Amin. I look after governance and operations at Superfluid. So as Graham mentioned, yeah, we have a close relationship with GoodDollar at a kind of tech protocol level and also at the community side. Yeah, been with Superfluid for about 3 years, and but my background is mainly institutional finance across payments, lending, FX, and SME lending, and so on. Yeah. So I will pass it to Yoni.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yoni, Israel GoodDollar ambassador. I'm also from Tessie's Kitchen, participating in the GoodDollar Builders program. I'm happy to be here. I love GoodDollar. I'll pass it to, I don't see names here, Mo. Did Mo go?
Hi everyone, I'm Mo, one of the GoodDollar community moderators. So I'll pass it to Omar.
Hi everyone. It's nice to be with you here. My name is Umar. I'm also a GoodDollar community moderator. Thanks. I'll pass it to Johannes. Johannes is there.
Johannes, yeah, that's right. Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Johannes. I've been working with Yanni and Amri on GoodDollar since the early beginning. We designed the initial contract infrastructure and also wrote several academic papers on GoodDollar, some of them, and others generally on DAOs and governance. And I work at eToro, and sometimes help out Hadar whenever I can with business development tasks and governance related tasks. Okay, let's see who is missing. Sam, did you go?
Oh, me? Yeah, I already went, but we can go to.
Oh, wait. Okay, you're Sam. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think we can go to Gmo, I think, on. It's good to see you, Gmo, as well.
Hey guys, sorry, am I next? And just a quick intro?
Yeah, just a quick intro about yourself and maybe what, your connection to GoodDollar as well.
Cool. Hey everybody. Jimo here, founder of Sylvie. We're building reforestation tools. We've been collaborating with GoodDollar for quite some time. Basically, we've built an integration such that GoodDollar can apply its UBI program into conservation. Some folks like to call it conservation basic income. And so there's a smart contract that listens to settlements of MRV coming in from Sylvie, and it has the ability to add an additional payment for impact. So it's like stacking payments, leveraging the GoodDollar smart contract. Good to be here. Cheers.
I can go next.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. I'm Paul. I'm the founder of Gardens.fund. Looking at the list, I've worked pretty closely with about half of the people here, so it's good to see a lot of familiar faces and excited to meet everyone else too. And then let's see Teresa.
Thank you. So happy to be here. I contribute to funding the Commons and other projects like Crypto Altruist and also some initiatives within the refi-DAO. I'm a big fan of GoodDollar, and I participated also as a mentor in the first Builders round. Lana, I think you haven't gone yet.
Hi, I'm Lana. I'm with GoodDollar, not to be confused with GoodDollar, but I was in the GoodDollar Builder program and a mentor. And so GoodDollar, we're a stablecoin, and we just donate 100% of our profits back into the ecosystem. So there's a lot of alignment. We tend to do a lot of work with the GoodDollar team. And I think that might be it. I did a quick scan, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't gone, speak now.
Marcelo and Marco.
Hey everyone. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not sure. What did I say?
Sure. Just a couple of words on yourself, what you're doing, your name.
Okay. Marco, I'm Portuguese. I used to work on another project related with UBI as well, so impact markets, that distributed like stable coins to vulnerable communities around the world. And then it kind of also started with microcredit. And now I'm just exploring building different kind of solutions. And I recently just working on a kind of a wallet and integrated the GoodDollar SDK. So yeah, I'm just here to help with anything that might be useful for you guys.
Thanks, Marco. Marcelo and Agnes, the last one, I think.
Hi, I'm Marcelo. I'm a researcher, co-founder of RefiSpring, an ex-core team of refi-DAO, and currently I'm leading research on Selatan. Super nice to meet so many friendly faces here.
Agnes, your turn.
Hello everyone, nice to see all of you again. Some of you met before. I'm Agnes Koinange. I'm working with the Good Builders program before. Currently, I'm partnering with Precious Kitchen as well as EGR for the global casting. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Agnes. Good to see you here as well, Marcelo. I think everyone's gone now. Please speak now if you haven't. Otherwise, I am going to kick off this call in earnest. Okay, great. So I prepared just a really short slideshow, which I'm going to share my screen now. The point of this call is not for me to talk the whole time. I want to spend just a quick 5 to 10 minutes kind of sharing context with you all. So I hope everyone can see my screen here. So I want to kind of share what we're doing here today. Sorry, give me a second. Just there. Yeah, so we have started this this campaign, which I've called CoGov, short for Collaborative Governance, to redesign the GoodDollar governance system. To give you just like really quick background, it sounds like everyone has at least a somewhat of a relationship with the GoodDollar project, so don't really need to spend much time here. But the original mission of the project was to provide a decentralized model to generate and distribute UBI through the GoodDollar token. And since the 2020 launch, GoodDollar has seen like serious success, specifically for Web3 protocols in terms of usage. I mean, 900,000 users, 2 million transactions. It's been an incredible journey for GoodDollar. And GoodDollar V4, which launched this year and featured a transition to the Celo blockchain, now has the protocol as one of the most active by users on Celo. So GoodDollar governance, where it's at today. So it was initially created to distribute control to the GoodDAO. And this was achieved through the Good token, which was distributed to the UBI claimers as well as stakers in a very accessible way and was non-transferable. The rest of the model kind of proceeded, if anybody has any familiarity with other crypto protocol governance systems. There's a GIP process, an improvement proposal process that happens through discourse, which is the governance forum, and then snapshot, which is voting. However, this governance system, since it launched, has experienced a few challenges. Mostly that the proposals have been mainly initiated by the Good Labs Foundation, which has kind of created a lack of distinction between Good Labs and the GoodDAO, which is featured in that third bullet point, which is kind of a lack of clarity, general lack of clarity around the governance structure, as well as like an complex process for the participants. And then there's also been voting decisions that have been dominated by large token holders, which is surely not, GoodDollar is not alone in that challenge. So that brings us to the governance revision and why we're doing this. So what I wanted to start really briefly with kind of like the current state of DAOs. And so I know a lot of you were in Buenos Aires recently for DevConnect, but there was definitely a couple key takeaways that I had regarding DAOs, regarding decentralized governance, and even like the refi regen space in general. My primary one was that the time to get this type of governance right is now. There has been like a general shift away from the traditional DAO foundation model to more traditional corporate structures. I mean, these examples are very public now, but like EigenLayer, Scroll, Uniswap, Polygon, a lot of, we've seen this trend across a lot of the major projects. And we've kind of seen this space get a little bit smaller. However, being in Buenos Aires, like with a bunch of these governance people, we are still here. There are still people who want to see things done a bit differently. And so I've seen kind of an inflection point for DAOs, what I'm kind of calling a dialectical evolution of DAOs, where there's this initial thesis that DAOs were good for everything. We're kind of in this antithesis stage where people think DAOs are good for nothing. However, I believe that this will lead to a third synthesis phase, where we actually figure out where DAOs make the most sense and how to get this decentralized governance system to add value back to the projects where they're implemented. And this is, I think GoodDollar has a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of. I think that GoodDollar is special. It's not like your traditional Web3 or like DeFi protocol, right? The conversations I've had with a lot of you in the room right now, with other members of the wider community, there's the mission of GoodDollar resonates very tremendously with a lot of people. And so I think this is an opportunity to change the way that GoodDollar is managed and do it in a way that involves like real engagement from GoodDollar's community. But this requires a lot of things. And so to provide a quick update, what initially necessitated this governance redesign is that there's also a concurrent change in strategic direction for the project. Global access to UBI will remain at the heart of the project, but GoodDollar is also currently shifting towards building a sustainable economy on top of the GoodDollar infrastructure. And this has kind of already begun with initiatives like the Good Builders program, which a lot of you are familiar with. And this will create more opportunities for every GoodDollar holder to do more with their tokens, and build a stronger economic system that benefits everyone, which is truly the mission of GoodDollar. We want the GoodDAO to play a central role in guiding this expansion and this growth, ensuring that governance becomes the tool through which the community can set priorities, support builders, lead the growth of the GoodDollar ecosystem. And so the objective here is to really empower the community to play a bigger role in shaping GoodDollar's future, to build a new framework that lowers barriers and enable real participation. This infographic I love a lot. It's not exactly correct, but I think it does a really good job of illustrating exactly where governance can play an impact in the system. So we don't have time to go all the way through it, but what I've circled here are various areas throughout the circulation of GoodDollar where core decisions can be made by the GoodDAO. And so as you can see, UBI, which plays 100% of a role today, could in the future play less of a role, where other financial flows go towards ecosystem investments or new areas like savings. And then even within the investments, there can be different buckets through which these financial flows can go. So these are what I would call like the governance levers, because the ultimate objective of this is that there will be a DAO treasury that the GoodDAO will be governing and deciding exactly how to allocate that money. So just moving forward, what we've done so far, so we've actually set up an initial steering committee, which features people in this room, Lana, Teresa, and Amin, who introduced themselves earlier. And the purpose of this committee was to provide initial expertise, continuity, and support in establishing these initial priorities for the governance redesign. And then we have now launched officially the CoGov process, which will start this new direction for the governance and the GoodDAO in a way that's rooted in a participatory co-design process in order to maximally align all stakeholders and kind of co-create these initial priorities for governance. The high-level overview, so this information is all on the forum. So if you haven't read it yet, please go and check it out after the call today. But overall, I wanted to provide an overall view of this. The CoGov process will proceed in 3 stages. The first of which is the mission and vision, which we're covering today. And then there will be framework and architecture, the call for which will be on January 8th. So the same kind of setting as today, but different priority. And then the tooling and mechanisms will happen at the end of the month in January. Each stage will last 3 weeks. So last week I posted an initial announcement to the forum. That will happen at the beginning of each one of these stages, where I will try to set some of the context and provide crucial information that we can then build a very productive conversation upon during the community call. And then on the week 2, whose dates I've put there will be this call, and then I will post kind of a retrospective summarizing and aggregating the ideas that are generated and validated during the call. The desired outcome of this will be to generate concrete and actionable ideas for a new governance model and DAO structure. And so this brings us to today. And so I've already spoken for 10 minutes and I want to get to the participatory part of it. But this is really all about alignment. The right governance framework is nothing without being able to align over why this is existing in the first place and what we plan to govern. What is the actual purpose of GoodDAO and of GoodDollar governance? So the priorities here is to clarify just that, to develop some of these principles and core values that will guide our decision-making in the future and define some of like the major stakeholders. And so I posted some initial questions on the forum around this, and we're going to now collaboratively work together on hopefully generating some pretty good ideas around some of these questions. So I think that's it for the slideshow. I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I will happily pause here for a minute before proceeding to the next stage. If anybody has any questions or wants any more clarity or context before moving to the Figma board.
Are there any more meetings or actions, or is it just going to be one meeting every?
So yes, so it'll just be easy to share this again. So this is, in terms of CTAs, these are the next two synchronous meetings, January 8th.
For the mission and vision, just this meeting?
So yes, I really, really highly encourage people to go to the forum for async discussion. We can also do some in Telegram as well if people are in Telegram, and Mary and I were discussing maybe creating a separate channel just for governance. But the forum post, which I actually will drop here for, this is actually I'll drop the mission and vision one. So I have this specific forum post, which I highly recommend everybody go and read and participate asynchronously with ideas and things like that. And then, like for the mission and vision part, this will proceed similarly for the next two stages as well, where there will be a forum post that goes up on the first week, hopefully some async discussion and conversation around that. And then the community will come together on those 2 dates for another call where we can further discuss some of these priority areas. Okay, so I'm taking this resounding silence as everybody is super happy with what I just presented, and I explained it really, really well, so nobody has any questions. So I'm gonna I'll stop sharing here. And we can move over. I dropped earlier in the chat. I can drop it again, but we're going to move over now to this FigJam board. It's at the top if you scroll up in the chat, but I also just put it again. And we will I'm glad to see that we have a full half an hour to do this. I was worried, considering this is the first call. I didn't know how long that was going to take. And I will now share, so I will also share on this screen the FigJam board. If anybody has any issues getting in there, please let me know and we can kind of troubleshoot on the go here. Otherwise, please go over to where it says start here. I will now zoom in on this. So what we're going to be doing today is exactly that first step. So kind of clarifying why we think the GoodDAO and like the governance system for GoodDollar should exist, and exactly what we're going to be working on together through this. And so for me, more tangibly, this means discussing the mission, vision, and purpose of GoodDAO governance. So I included some kind of excerpts from ChatGPT just to better explain what each of these things are and the differences between them, as well as how they work together. So feel free to take a quick read and familiarize yourself with that. I also included guiding questions on each of these sections to kind of like help during this brainstorming process. But what I was thinking logistically is that we're going to take 5 minutes here. And please, I also put, if you see the red sticky in each section, was my initial idea. So hopefully that helps the brainstorming process even more. And so feel free to add your own sticky in each one of these sections for the purpose, which is the why, the vision, which is the where and like where we're going, and then the mission is like what we do and how we do it, how we get there. And we'll take 5 minutes to do this, and then I was thinking we would take another 5 to 10 minutes after to kind of discuss and maybe surface some of the answers that resonate the most with us. Are there any questions about this process right now? Otherwise, I'm happy to kick it off, and we can take the next 5 minutes. I'll get some music going, and yeah, have fun, and we'll chat after. Hope everybody can hear the music and that it's nice.
Sam, I have a question. On the purpose.
Yes, go ahead.
The question that we're answering is, why does GoodDollar exist, or why does GoodDollar governance exist?
Governance exists. So with the knowledge that you have over the protocol and the project itself, like why would a GoodDAO and governance exist? You know, thinking about the value that it could contribute to the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good to remember that we're talking about the GoodDAO, not the protocol, and yeah, and maybe not the good labs or the core team.
Yes, not good labs. Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing people need a little bit more time, so I'm going to go ahead and add like a couple minutes. So yeah, make sure we get some good ideas. All right, let's end there, and people can definitely keep working on their ideas as maybe we talk about a couple of them. But let's start up here with the purpose. If there is anyone who wants to offer up what they wrote for discussion, I would love to hear it. And I also realized that in terms of the final outcome for this first stage of CoGov, I forgot to mention I will be taking these ideas as well as the discussion that happens on the forum to be creating a draft of a North Star document which will reflect exactly what we discuss here in terms of the mission and vision for GoodDAO. And so that will be put up on the forum next week, which we can also discuss. So that, in terms of a tangible outcome for this first process. But yeah, would anybody like to share what they wrote for the purpose before I start calling on people, of course?
Can I put something not mine? Or can I
Sure.
highlight?
Yeah. If you like one as well, definitely feel free to offer that up for discussion. That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, I like the one that says a sovereign digital nation that serves to give its citizens the best public goods possible. I like it because I always looked at from the beginning. We always looked at I thought of GoodDollar users as citizens, and yeah, and it's like we are trying to build something that is external, like a nation, right? I don't know, like people talking not network states, but the concept of that we are this kind of trying to be something outside the current system.
It's really big. So I'm just trying to put a red dot there so that I remember.
Who wrote that?
That was mine. This is Paul.
Yeah, nice one, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah, it's somewhat. I think to like some extent that probably describes maybe every DAO in our ecosystem, but so yeah, it's a little vague, but I think that is ultimately what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think makes GoodDollar super interesting is that the public good that it's offering really is the currency of GoodDollar. And so deciding how GoodDollar flows throughout the ecosystem, that it is providing as much value to all participants as possible, that's truly the public good that I see the GoodDAO having the most impact on. So that's what excites me about this, this governance redesign and how we can better influence, the flow of GoodDollar.
That's a tough one, though. If that is the public good, that's a really difficult, because the kind of second order of that is, if the currency is the public good, then you need to support the currency with liquidity, and it's a really challenging task. I think that's why we haven't figured out UBI yet, is because we don't have a model where there's enough liquidity to support UBI for a substantial number of people. So you either need to restrict who's able to get access to that liquidity to a small enough number of people for it to be meaningful, or you need this like enormous economic engine that's going to produce somehow more value.
Well, I think that's good. That's a good issue you raised. I think that I will follow up this session. I think that I'll do a rerun of my monetary presentation I did in Funding the Commons and add a little bit on top of that, and that could provide, again, more insight into my vision, or into the GoodDollar vision of how we can do that sustainably.
Yes, I mean, that would be great, Hadar. I think to reissue that for the people here would be awesome. I think that one of the keys of this process is definitely to get that context from Good Labs in terms of that, new strategic direction that I was discussing earlier, but also your vision for GoodDollar, and being able to, integrate that into this governance redesign, I think is absolutely key. I'll also pick one that I actually really liked. I don't know, Marcelo, if you wanted to talk about yours. I thought that this was incredible about the capital allocation being complex, but diluting the complexity via like small groups and niches of challenges.
Yes, impact capital allocation is super hard, because when traditional capital allocation fails, investors lose a couple of bucks. But when impact capital allocation fails, people's lives can be destroyed. So, and it's a complex thing, because it means financial sustainability, it means sustainability for projects, and when we dilute this into niche of challenge, then each challenge lose the complexity of being super tied with all the others. So one can focus on I will solve this, and then the other I can solve this, and then a third one can say, hey, those two solved those problems, so now we can invest, or we can allocate time to this other thing. And I think it's more healthy to go through the challenge as small challenges instead of big ones. Will not end the current system, but we can build something better.
Agreed. And I think what's key there is how is that information propagated throughout a system, right? And I think in terms of governance, I mean, that comes down for me in terms of some of the deliberation tactics that we can use about, which challenges are worth our time and effort and resources. And then how do we make sure we funnel our resources in the right direction? I thought that was a great answer, and a role that GoodDAO can play. Was there any other ones that we liked, or did anybody else want to offer up their own, or somebody else's here? If not, I'm happy to move down into the vision for GoodDAO and GoodDollar governance. And it's actually funny. The sticky that I put here, Marcelo, I think actually related to what you just put, where I have a global community, meaning the DAO, translating local knowledge into sustainable economic activity that maximizes value for all. It's a little bit more broad, but what I'm envisioning is that we take local knowledge, so these local challenges that people are experiencing and problems that they want to help solve and fund, and being able to kind of surface that information for the entire GoodDAO and GoodDollar ecosystem to be able to better address those specific issues. And so I thought that kind of resonated with your thought. But did anybody else want to add or bring up their thoughts or what they put down, or maybe something that they liked, something that resonated with them here?
So I looked at the. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Well, I was going to bring up Graven's. I like the participatory governance thing he mentioned, and I would also be interested to hear him expand on that. If Graven, are you still here?
Yeah, I had to deal with a barking dog. Sorry. What was your prompt?
There's no such thing as an inclusive alternative monetary system without opportunities for participatory governance.
Yeah. So I guess that was on the purpose,
the why
governance, right? Like, it's kind of literal in the sense of like why governance exists, right? Like, I think and this was one of the questions, is like, are we doing this for GoodDollar itself or governance? And so I leaned in on the governance side of just basically assuming an alternative inclusive financial system is what GoodDollar is aiming for in its purpose. Then, sorry, there's the dog again. That governance, basically, it's a requirement that it be inclusive itself, for this financial system to be inclusive. We don't know what that looks like, and we'll never have a perfect model of what an inclusive financial system looks like. So people have to be actively participating in its design and evolution to strive for that goal. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, and I think that was a core value since the beginning, that inclusivity portion, which really drove the initial design. But part of this redesign is also thinking about how to balance that inclusivity with also being able to get the right amount of engagement, and even just the right engagement, whatever that means. I think that generally speaking, we use the word community a lot in Web3, but being able to better define what community means for GoodDollar, specifically with regards to governance, I think that is a super important question to answer during this process, in order to best balance inclusivity with good decision making.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, most of us have been around DAOs, and everyone voting on everything all the time. No gates, no nothing. Like, we understand that doesn't work. And I think kind of like at this purpose level, you're striving for that, but in execution and like the lower levels and like the how, there's nuance to that, right? Like, being a part of this nation, as other people kind of described it, there's like kind of a citizenry test, and I don't want that to come off negative. It's like, you actually have to want to be a part of this and like prove it to like then kind of get that, like, earn the say, right? There's a certain amount of like, fundamentally we want to include everyone, but it's not just open it up to every Sybil account and like every like governance attacks. There's always a balance there.
Yeah, completely agree. And that's one of the key questions is how to determine that. We do want to be as inclusive as possible, but striking that balance is definitely key. And I would be happy to discuss that topic with anyone here whenever you want. Feel free to message me or async on the forum or Telegram. That's definitely an ongoing conversation I'd love to have throughout this process. Was there anything else that we liked, I guess, with regards to the vision in terms of where we want to be going, you know, what we want
I
to
like
be? Go ahead,
I also like what Marcelo wrote, a network of impact capital allocators coordinating through a shared protocol. So this is basically what, you know, I see for GoodDollar, right? We can allocate. I think that even though we have different communities that might have their own different monies, like let's say we have Sarafu network with their vouchers, we have a bread cooperative with their own stable token, we have circles. So we have maybe just local communities with their own fiat currency, right? So all of these communities are separated and they don't have something to leverage their own money, right? They use monies that either are not leveraged. And with GoodDollar, this could be like a token that does a coordination and now allows all these communities to grow and prosper together and decide how to, you know, redistribute the growth that is shared among all the different communities. So that's why I like what Marcelo wrote.
Yes, thank you, Marcelo.
Yeah, one thing that I had in mind with this is that through the like impact capital allocation or capital allocation in Web3, and I'm talking about like funding the commons, Allo protocol, Sarafu, like everyone. Each protocol has like its own thing, and at the same time, each protocol is coordinating with each other. It's like open space, and I think like GoodDollar has like the perfect infrastructure and audience that other protocols who have like more capital or more infrastructure lacks. So I think it's a perfect fit for the whole ecosystem that GoodDollar joins like in this part of, hey, we have the audience, we already have the people, the wallets, we have the assets. So like we can use whatever methods created on Allo. We can experiment on scale with Sarafu is doing. Like I think it's a perfect fit for the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that message, Marcelo. Thank you. And I know we're already up on time, which this was my fear the whole time. I want to keep talking with all of you, and luckily we do have those next dates where we can continue this conversation. But just for the sake of time, did anybody want to finish up with? I see I didn't even give enough time for everybody to fill out this last thing, but just maybe throughout this conversation, if something is bubbled up for you with regarding the ultimate mission for GoodDollar governance and GoodDAO, you know, the core functions. If there's anything that somebody wants to bring up as like a final point here.
Maybe to throw something like really out there, we're entering the age of AI, and there's like more than ever this need for UBI distribution. And I think this ecosystem now that could sort of be represented by some of the direction and mission of GoodDAO, I think has a huge opportunity to experiment in that space, and not just to become financially sustainable in and of itself, but to really attract a much larger support system for these mechanisms. Yeah, I mean, whether you want to see it through the lens of AI and the sort of the next stage of you know, global productivity and financial flows, I just think that's something deeply important to consider.
Yeah, agree. I think the mission of GoodDollar, the protocol, not governance. Oh, good. The mission of GoodDollar, the protocol. That's why I think it resonates with a lot of people. I think this concept of UBI as we enter this next like age of a very uncertain times, AI being a critical piece of that. I think it becomes ever more important. So yeah, thank you, Jimo, for that. I think for the sake of time, I'm going to cut it there because I just want to end with a couple of notes. This went by so fast, but I want to say thank you so much for everybody for participating. It's like such an incredible group that we had here today, and people that I've known, but also new faces as well. So I want to just say thank you for that. I also want to make sure that I set the context for these next these coming weeks. So I'm going to stop sharing so that's not in our way. Basically, I'm going to take the work that we did here, but also please feel free to continue this. If we didn't get to a couple points that you wanted to make, please feel free to put them on the forum post and we could continue the conversation async there. And I want to take all of those ideas into drafting this initial North Star document that kind of aggregates all of these ideas and that we can have a more tangible, like maybe back and forth about before I'm making that, formalized. So that's—
Mary also share the link to a Telegram group.
Yes, I think, Mary, did you drop that? There were two links we wanted to share. Yeah, the Telegram group Mary just dropped, so please join that. That's easier for like other async, comms. And then was there the calendar as well, Mary? I don't know if you saw my message.
I'll share it on the Telegram.
On the Telegram, great.
To send invites to everybody that's on this call as well.
Perfect. So we're going to have a calendar for those next two calls that you can easily, get into your schedules. I wanted to just say that the work that we did here, in addition to that output of the North Star document, I really want this context to remain between these stages. So the next one is really going to be talking about the governance framework and architecture. So one of the tensions was already brought up between inclusivity and effective decision-making, but how do we best build this architecture for GoodDAO to ensure that all the values that we're talking about, the mission that we're talking about, is incorporated into that. And so that's kind of the next stage and what we might want to be thinking about. That's going to be the next conversation. And that there's going to be another forum post that I can, include in Telegram as well, and that we can discuss async working up to the next one, which is in a little over a month now, considering the holidays. So I know we're at time. I'm not gonna go over it all, but I do want to wish everyone happy holidays. I'm so excited about this process. Once again, thank you so much for everyone for joining. It's an amazing crew that we had here today. Also, feel free to ping people who you think might be interested. The more the merrier for this redesign process. I really just want to get together the most aligned, group that we can get for this next phase for GoodDollar. Thanks a lot. And I hope to see you, next time. Hadar, was there something you wanted to?
I wanted to add, I know that we are on time, but I just wanted to add, one of the biggest takeaway from DevConnect, and we talked with all of you there, was kind of the public good space gets getting smaller and smaller, right? And how coordination and being all strong is very important. So I'm really happy that everybody joined, see all of those ideas, and actually Marcelo, a lot all of your ideas as well, kind of this coordination layer, right, that we need in the space. So really excited for all of this.
And I also want to thank everyone, and also to say that even though Marcelo's suggestions were highlighted, I looked at all the other, I read all the other stuff, and that's all great. And Sam is gonna have a hard job, finalizing stuff, or I don't know what's the plan, how to decide on it. But thank you everyone, great ideas.
Okay, thanks everyone. I will see you online and for the next call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
everyone.